So these two gentlemen here, I think it's better for you guys to explain your origin story a little bit, who you are, where you come from, and how you got to where you are now.
You go first.
Okay, so me and Jamie, we've known each other for like the last 15 years. We worked together in a call center a very long time ago. I was a call center manager, and Jamie was like a senior advisor. We kind of, in Cornwall, everybody kind of knows everybody else. So we always kind of knew each other. Yeah. Lots of jokes.
There's the other one right there.
Yeah. Cornwall, Scottish, yeah. And about 18 months ago, there was another event that was running in Exeter, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, that event didn't go ahead. So a gap opened in the market for a big business event in Exeter, in Devon, and I made a call to West Point Arena in Exeter, and secured the date. And me and Jamie set up Forefront Events, and our flagship event was Business Fest Southwest, which happened on the 2nd of April. He wants to say something?
No, I want to say, when you said origin story, I thought there's like in the army and stuff.
Yeah, like where did you come from?
During the war? Yeah. Okay. I want to go further back.
Yeah, what made you start?
I was born in Trelisk in 1984. So I'm Cornish. I lived in Cornwall up until 17 years old, and then I joined the British Army. Always make sure I say British, someone thinks it's anywhere else.
It's not the Cornish Army, is it?
Not the Cornish Army. No, they got defeated in about 1600.
The URA.
He's been waiting to crack that one all day. I joined the Army at 17, a very eventful week that I joined. I joined on the 10th of September 2001, and then obviously the day after was the September the 11th attacks. So my mum was well happy that she'd signed my waiver to let me join under 18. I was in the Army. I was in the Army Air Corps for 7 years, which is like refueling, rearming helicopters. I did a year stint with the Parachute Regiment, the 2nd Parachute Regiment. Did 2 tours for Iraq. I did Optelic 2 and Optelic 7. First tour was what you would call a sunshine tour, so it was lots of baby oil and sunning and getting a decent tan. And then the second tour was more dodging bullets and trying not to get hit with IEDs and stuff. Not a very funny thing to joke about, but there you go. I threw a joke in there. I left the Army in 2007, late 2007, and I did lorry driving for a little bit. Suffered with PTSD, which wasn't good, and it was a bit rubbish. And then I moved into marketing and sales, did telemarketing for a little bit. That's where I met Jamie. COVID happened. I was working for an event company. I was running a couple of events, B2B Marketing Expo, Sales Innovation Expo, Marketing Technology Expo up in Excel in London. Kind of got 5 years, really good experience running national events. And then COVID happened, and the company, for all the hard work that everybody did, they just sacked everybody. They went from 300 members of staff down to 12 members of staff in the course of 4 days. At which point I was like, okay, let's see if there's any jobs going. There was no jobs going, so I set up a marketing agency, my wife's idea, which worked pretty well for a couple of years. And then 18 months ago is when the story kind of continues with Forefront Events and Business Fest Southwest.
We'll get onto that origin in just a moment. Let's hear a little bit where Jamie came from, and then I know the story, obviously, but I want to bring it all together in just a moment.
My story's nowhere near as good as his. I'm originally from Crewe in South Cheshire and moved down here when I was about 7 years old. Went to school, college, university in Cornwall and Devon at Plymouth University, and then finished university. And I was one of those where I thought, like, in the run up to finishing university, got a good, I nearly got a first, ended up with a 2-1, and I thought, the world's waiting for me. It's going to be amazing. And then I realised the real world is really fucking shit.
I will remind you, my parents were in the audience. They don't know I swear yet.
but yeah, like the real world was a massive slap around the face, and I went from having aspirations of being a captain of industry to working in a call centre, and managed to work myself to the top of that tree, and that's when me and Gavin first met each other, and then it was weird. We didn't know each other. Well, we moved away for a bit, and then we kind of came back together again at Prism Group. So that's Prism Group, not in jail.
Yeah, not in prison.
Clear distinction.
They were like one of the biggest event organisers.
Because we both got a speech impediment, and prism sounds like prison.
Yeah.
So it's,
We're both in jail together.
Yeah. Doing bird. No.
Gavin sorted me out with some snout, and we just hit off. But no, we were at Prism Group, and like Gavin did his events, and I was the director of Legal X, which is like Europe's largest trade show for the legal sector, and then went on to run the Great British Business Show, and with its affiliates, it's the biggest event for SMEs in the world. But just before COVID, I decided it wasn't for me anymore. I got really negged out about it, and I was like, I didn't even have another job to go to. I just like, I'm quitting, I'm leaving, and I walked out. And I didn't work for like 3 months, and then I bumped into my mate in Sainsbury's one day, and he was like, I'm working up at these stockbrokers, you should come up there. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I turned into a derivatives trader, execution only, and did that, trading high risk trading instruments, CFDs, spread bettings, etc. And then it was really weird because I kind of have like a 3 or 4 year cycle, and then I get bored. So keep your eye out, guys.
Of 2.5.
But I was getting bored there, and then one of my old work colleagues, Eddie Lawrence, name drop, said you should could do events again. And part of doing this new job was they didn't like, because I'm old school sales, telesales on the phone. You've got a phone on your desk and you dial your numbers in. But going to this place, they're like, no, you did it from your mobile. And I'm like, what? And my mobile was like rubbish. So I had to go and get a new mobile. And part of that was getting a new phone number. So I messaged Gav and said, here's my new number, mate. And then literally like...
He messaged a lot of people, to be fair. It wasn't just me, wasn't it?
No.
I spoke to Gavin a while.
I think you were like 1 of 6.
That's a hell of a phone bill.
Thing is, I believe him. I've seen his phone. He has like
Gavin
3 numbers saved.
Like everyone in exhibitors, like if you rang me, I wouldn't know you were until I answered.
No, I've noticed
I don't save anyone's numbers. It's weird. Isn't it?
I save everyone's numbers. If I've ever rung you, you're saved in my phone.
But then Gav rang me up one day and he was like, I've just been and seen a client in Truro. Do you fancy being in it for a beer? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And Gavin didn't really say what happened to the event that we replaced. So there was this gentleman called David Barr. I'm going to name drop him as well. And he ran the Southwest Business Expo at the West Point Arena at the beginning of April for like 10 years. And about 3 days before 2024's exhibition was to take place, he sent an email out to all of the exhibitors saying the event had been postponed due to unforeseen family circumstances. And then, for want of a better analogy, did a midnight flick with everyone's money. And Gavin heard through the grapevine that had happened, and rang the West Point and said, what's going on? And then spoke to me, and then a week later, the West Point came back to us and said, do you want the dates? And we were like, yeah, absolutely. And I quit my job, and here we go.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of incredible like how it all started from like such kind of quite different places, to be honest, and it just all coalesced over a pint. I mean, that obviously speaks to me and Ryan quite a lot, because for those who don't know, Riveracts Media also started in a pub, and then a different pub, and then a third pub, and then we knew we wanted to go into business together once we stopped drinking and remembered each other's names. And what's particularly incredible is the fact that it was a very short period of time for you guys. You literally texted Gavin, a little while later you were having a chat, next thing you know you booked West Point for Business Fest Southwest.
It's probably a space of about a month, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's insane. That's such a short period of time, because don't these events normally take substantially longer to, like, people have plans and they try and find investors first and they try and how different is that story from like somebody putting on any other expo that's going on?
Well, we I'm going to swear again, but we didn't have a pot of piss in, so
Yeah.
we had...
There are other ways you could have said it. we were skin.
But we had, again...
Sales, marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Messaging, execution.
Yeah. We had an old work colleague that we used to work with, Eben, who's Hungarian, And
Not important to the story.
I like to throw it in every time we have an interaction. But yeah, he's done very well for himself. He knows us guys. He trusts us, and he's set us off with a tiny little bit of seed money to get going.
That's cool. Yeah. So, as I was saying, Business Fest Southwest. We first spoke to you guys because when we were just starting off, we were like, well, we need to get out there a little bit more. And I kind of put in more out of curiosity, saying, it's like, oh, what would it be like to exhibit for you guys? And within one phone call, you'd convinced me to go to Business Fest Southwest. And you were pitching it to me like as a very grand thing. I had no idea you had only set it up a couple of months prior. To be honest.
It wasn't part of our marketing to tell people that. It may have put people off. But yeah,
it was absolutely fantastic, and it was an absolutely tremendous time. I think a few of you have joined us there. I know Tim Martin, who was helping us out on our stand as well, and the wonderful guys from Twisted too. And my mum's put her hand up.
Did you say you ran the business fairs for 2025?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. The pennies just dropped like, oh, it's you guys. Oh, okay, amazing. Yeah. That was us. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it was absolutely fantastic. It was great because what kind of difficulties did you have in that case? Because it sounded as if it all just went rather well. You managed to get absolutely tons of exhibitors there. Loads of people were there having an absolutely brilliant time, including people who weren't, specifically going there for business. They just wanted to have a bit of a look around and see what's going on in the Southwest. What difficulties did you find when putting it all together?
We jump in? Well, for us, me and Jamie, over that initial pint, and again, me and Jamie, although we've never been like really good mates, we are sometimes now. But although we weren't really good friends, like I knew our values always aligned. And one of the things working in the events industry, and I'm not saying this specifically about the company that me and Jamie worked for, but there's a lot of people that are disingenuous. There's a lot of people that will tell you exactly what you want to hear, but it may not be the truth. So one of the things that me and Jamie, one of the kind of staples, if you will, was honesty. And so I'm ex-military. I have this thing, learned it when I was 17. It's the I forgot what they call it now, CRILDS. Courage, respect, integrity, loyalty, discipline, selfless commitment. It's in my head. It's in there. I can't get it out. And I'm glad, because that's basically what we base the whole business on. So every customer, and this is agreed, we didn't even really make an agreement when we went for a pint. I mentioned it in passing. Jamie is certain that I met up with him to sell him the idea of working together. I really didn't. I didn't even know if we were getting the dates, but almost from that kind of first interaction, that's what we have to stick by. Courage, respect, integrity, loyalty, discipline, selfless commitment. Everybody gets treated the same. It doesn't matter if they're paying 500 quid or if they're paying $5,000, they get treated the same. We don't do last minute discounts of 500 quid for a stand, or 800 quid, whatever, some cut price thing. And if I'm honest with you, that wasn't a difficulty that we found. If anything, it gave us strength, because I don't know if you want to share the story about that Welsh company.
Oh yeah, so unlike a lot of event organisers, you've already heard this before, but unlike a lot of event organisers, we don't attract new exhibitors, new businesses to come and be a part of our exhibition by an effort of cold calling. Thank God, as being the sales director, because it's archaic, it can become quite toxic, and it can become quite aggressive as well. In terms of trying to pin people down to exhibit at your show. So we decided to invest a lot of our funds into social media advertising, and obviously Gavin is an absolute guru at what he does as a marketeer.
An inbound marketing strategy.
Absolutely, I know nothing about it.
The phone rings, he goes, hello.
I'm just closing. But we had this. It was an IT company in Wales, and the sales process is that they put an inquiry through the website. I'll ring them. I'll introduce them to the event. I'll ask them about their company. And first and foremost, I want to understand absolutely that we can live up to our end of the bargain and provide the right audience, and that there's a genuine route to a return on investment for them. And if we establish that goal, I will get a proposal emailed out to them, stand recommendations, media pack, all that good stuff. So I've gone back to them a week or so later, spoke to the lady, and she was an account manager, so she wasn't the decision maker. And she said to me, like, oh, we were discussing it, we think we are interested, can you leave it with us a bit longer? Yeah, absolutely. We don't do any pressure sales because it's rubbish and it doesn't work. But went back to her like a week later, and she said, yeah, we've discussed it, we'd like to go ahead. And I think what the cost at the time was 150 a square metre, 3x2, 1050 plus the VAT. And she was like, I've spoken, like, we've had a meeting, she's like, if you could do it for £900, we'll sign now. And I was like, okay. And I was like, so just so I'm clear, if I charge you £900 and shave off £150, which is a great deal of money, you'll sign the contract right now. And she went, absolutely. I went, yeah, we're not doing that. And she was like, well, why not? And it's like, because we have an integrity and we have a relationship with all of our exhibitors, and no one gets preferential treatment. We did an early bird offer and we did the lazy bird offer. But the early bird offer was 150 a square metre and the lazy bird offer was 175 a square metre. And the only differential for every single one of the near 200 exhibitors we had at the show this year was public sector, CIC, non-profit or charity, and they paid £100 a square metre. And we stuck to that throughout. And genuinely, that kind of mentality and attitude within this industry of exhibitions, and specifically B2B exhibitions, that's unheard of. And it's working so well for us.
That is brilliant. I mean, that kind of integrity thing. Would you say that that's... What I've noticed is that a lot of people who are exhibiting with Business Fest, especially the past few networking events that we've been to, people are really dedicated to you guys. You don't just have exhibitors, you almost have fans, which is quite incredible. Do you think that all ties in together? Or is there a particular thing that people are resonating with?
I mean, I think personally it's because we are, we wear our hearts on our sleeve. We don't pretend to be anything we're not. You guys have seen the real us. Even when Jamie was banging on about Trump that time.
I was a bit drunk.
So just a little bit of context on that, although nothing to besmirch their good name.
Sorry.
We were this was before the last Business Fest, wasn't it? It was Not Working
back
Networking.
in March, wasn't
Back in
it?
March, yeah. So we went down to Not Working Networking in Exeter. And it was the first time we met these guys in person. Up to this point, we had a couple of Zoom calls and a couple of phone calls, a few emails, that sort of thing. But we had no idea what these guys would actually like. You don't until you meet somebody in person. So we go on down, and it's like, oh, it's great to see you, and hanging around and chatting. I think we were there until
we were the last guys.
We were the last ones there. It was 1 a.m. about 9 espresso martinis down.
Yeah, they were lovely.
And here I'm having a nice, quite coherent chat with Gavin. Jamie and Ryan are just chatting about Trump for 40 minutes. Ryan's a designated driver. He's stone cold sober, and he's just there, just going, yeah.
It was good.
But we still wanted to go to BizFest, so it's okay.
Yeah, we didn't put you off too much.
Just to be clear, I wasn't saying that as a fan of Trump.
It was just a good chat. That was it. But we found you guys incredibly human, incredibly nice, and there's these words thrown around all the time. It's like, oh, be your authentic self. Or what the hell does that even look like, sort of thing. I think just being able to talk to you guys and be able to chill out and have a chat, and maybe chat about some whatever daft things or whatever it might be. That for us was a very connecting moment, and because we were still a comparatively new company at that time, it put us a lot more at ease, knowing that we were forking out quite a substantial amount of money for us to be a part of your show. So that's...
It's weird though, isn't it, that if you treat people fairly and you don't take the piss, normally good things happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
How weird is that?
And there's your actionable tip. Be nice. I'm going to move on very quickly from Business Fest Southwest, obviously very successful, especially for a first-time show. Just quickly want to talk about the Cornwall Business Show, which I've managed to pop down to. We weren't exhibiting.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
It was absolutely fantastic to be there.
Did you find it like a mini Biz Fest?
That would probably be the best way to describe it for
Yeah.
me. It was obviously smaller because the venue was smaller.
Yeah.
But basically, so we did Business First, and because obviously we're based in Cornwall. Gavin lives in St Austell, I live in Truro. Our office is in St Austell, and it was weird. It was about 2 or 3 months after we launched BizFest back in May of last year, and Gavin had put a post out on social media, and the owner of the Cornwall Business Show had commented on that post saying imitation is the perfect form of...
Yeah. It was a little bit of a...
That's
it was it's a bit of a side swipe. It was like,
so unlike most people, like me, who would have gone, Oh, all right, okay, fair enough. Gavin's like that. I'm going to ring him up.
I'm not aggressive or anything, but I'm like, hey, you know,
But no, in a nice way.
if there's a problem,
I'm going to
let's
speak to this guy. And long story short, we ended up going and meeting him on his farm. A gentleman called Andrew Weaver, really good guy, really well experienced, knows. We've learnt so much from him. But we ended up just sitting with him in his farm, just on the outskirts of Truro, probably for about 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
I remember because I was wearing these black Armani jeans and they'd just come out of the wash, and we got to his farm and his dog was just all over me. So by the time he walked out, it was just covered in crap. But
Why'd
it was worth it.
Why'd you have to drop in that they were Armani? Is that because I've got bleach stains on these jeans?
That's
Is
because
that?
you buy all your clothes from George and Asda.
I do. Giorgio Armani.
But
Don't knock George.
I love George.
But these jeans are Primark, by the way. So they were
Paimani.
there we go. But yeah, we basically just sat with him for like 3-4 hours and just absorbed everything he had to say to us, and it was phenomenal. And he came to BizFest, and they asked for a meeting with us after the show, and we sat down with them, and it was Andrew and his wingman Kyle, and they were like, "How did you do that? That was a launch event. That was phenomenal." And we were like, "Yeah, we know."
We weren't quite that arrogant. We were at that point. Was it good? I don't know. I was ill as well.
But they've got like a portfolio of events, probably like 5-6 events, and the Cornwall Business Show was the only B2B event in their catalogue. Everything else was B2C. Yeah, started working with them, and then we did the show in October. The regional business shows in the Southwest typically will fall into one or two categories. They're either a conference where the predominant focus is on that as the speakers, and perhaps you'll have some exhibitors at the back of the room on trestle tables, or it's on the other side of the scale and it's just wall-to-wall exhibitors and it's an exhibition. Whereas with Business Fest and the Cornwall Business Show, we try to be a hybrid of the two. And a big deal for us is the delegate and the exhibitor experience. So we had 4 months to work on the show from May until October. We doubled the size of the show from like 43 exhibitors to 85. But we also introduced 4 brand new features: the TEDx Keynote Theatre, the Samphire Club Lounge, the networking arena, and the Digital Future Zone, and it really paid dividends. I know that we're taking hours to go through our answers, and I see everyone looking at me going,
How long are you going to be, mate?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting distracted.
All right.
Yeah.
No, that's all. I'm trying to...
No,
But yeah, it went really well.
it is. Both shows absolutely fantastic. So as an exhibitor going to BizFest, I really enjoyed it. We had an absolutely fantastic time. As an attendee for the Cornwall Business Show, it looked absolutely terrific.
Amazing.
Also had a fantastic time. So that's my endorsement to these chaps here. And also, they're great fun. You might be able to tell that. They don't take themselves too... What's your line? It's you don't too serious.
Oh, you caught me out now. We don't do serious events, but we're serious about doing events right.
And I think that hits a nail on the head on
But
that one.
I'll just add to that as well. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Our exhibitions are about doing business, about doing networking, about meeting new people, positioning your brand and generating leads. But a very close 6th or 7th to how many thing those hit there.
He's had a few beers, so...
Is we want people to enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
We want people to have a good time. We want to retain our visitors for as maximum amount of time as possible, because if they're happy, they're enjoying themselves, they're making new connections, they're improving their business, they're probably going to put their hand in their pocket and do business with our exhibitors. And within a month of finishing BizFest on the 2nd of April this year, just over 50% of our exhibitors signed the contract to do the show again this year. And obviously, you guys being a prime example of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm afraid we've got to start wrapping this up a little bit. So I'm going to go on to the speed round sort of thing. So first of all, I just want to say to you guys, just bear in mind that everything they're saying that they've done has been over the past like 12 to 18 months or something.
The company was incorporated in May, I think. Was it June?
May last year.
May 2024.
I didn't get on the phone till June.
Yeah.
Right, so that's
Busy then.
insane that all of that has happened in just that very short period of time. So that is absolutely incredible. And yeah, do urge you guys to check out both of their events if you have the opportunity.
Tickets for free.
Oh yeah, that's a point. Yeah, tickets are free. Well, there we go. In that case, that leads in quite nicely. So we don't do pitches or anything here at Relax Networking, except one, or kind of 1.5, 2, depending on how you guys want to approach this. That's perfectly fine. First of all, I want you guys to give your 60-second pitch for, well, yourselves, what you would like to pitch.
You can do this.
Okay.
You're good at this.
So my 60-second pitch would be for both events, because they both follow a very similar process and outcome. Is, without being too melodramatic, we are genuinely here to support Southwest business. and bring people together. Because when you bring people together and you do it in the right way and you do it with the right people, good things happen. The odds are stacked in favour of that happening. And as Gavin said and I've said, the industry within live events is unregulated and there's a lot of sharks out there. But again, to re-emphasise what I said earlier, if you treat people correctly and you don't take the piss and you're honest and you have integrity and you genuinely, I'm going to swear again, but you give a shit, good things will happen. So, whether you exhibit with us or you visit the event, I'm pretty confident that you won't feel that you've made the wrong decision.
That's fantastic. And of course, we want to do the free share of information here. We'd like to get one actionable tip. If you can each do one, actually, that would be fantastic. So that can be to an attendee or to an exhibitor, to any trade show, right? Let's say not just BizFest, but any trade show that anybody goes to. Can you give one actionable piece of advice that people can take away today?
I can give you, and I think this is in general actually, give more than you take. Probably what I would say, and that's, time. I try and make it my mission now every Friday to ring somebody that I've not spoke to in a while. I know it sounds really maybe a bit mad, but the amount of people I've spoken to, they've gone, it's so good to hear from you. And again, all I do really is I just kind of go through my phone book, and again, I've got everybody's numbers in there. So I literally go like that, and I go, oh, who's this? The A's aren't very good. They don't get a call very often, but I kind of go through and I'll pick a name and I'll go, I've not spoken to that person in ages, and I'll pick up the phone and I'll literally ring them and I'll go, hey, look, I'm not giving you a call for any other reason than check in. How's things going? Are you all right? How's life? How's the family? How's this? And it's really nice because you kind of reopen that door, and that thing of, give more than you can take. This is obviously one example. There might be something you can help them with, a little bit of advice. Maybe they haven't had anybody call them and just check in on them and see how they are. I think my big thing is that saying. I love a good saying, me, but that saying where they say, in a world where you can be anything, be nice. And I know it sounds really cheesy. I'm not a totally good soul, I promise. I like punk music and stuff, but that's what I would say. Be nice.
Nice.
Good bit of advice.
Mine would be, and it's certainly a lesson that Gavin and I have learned from working with our partners and the likes of Not Working Networking and Samphire Club, and I can see it's something that you very much endorse with your networking events, is very much being a fan of non-transactional networking, as opposed to what can you do for me before I do anything for you. More about building a community and working with people where you share the same beliefs and the same attitudes towards not just business but life in general. Because as Chris Bentley, who's the head of Not Working Networking, keeps telling us, you are 7 to 8 times more likely to do business with someone that you know and trust, as opposed to someone who's giving you their business card at a networking event.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gavin and Jamie of Forefront Events. Thank you so much. Right, okay, we are going to do the Q&A section very quickly here. We've got time for just a few questions, if that's all right, everybody. Yes, Tim.
More a comment than a question. I mean, I've had... Oh, sorry. Testing. More a comment than a question, really. Over the course of 20 years or more, I've been involved in all sorts of events and trade shows, usually on the receiving end of the sort of people that you were describing. And it is so beyond refreshing to find people who really do want to do it right. And I don't think it's hard to explain exactly how unusual that is. Really, they are there usually just to take your money, put the bare minimum of effort in, and I'm looking forward to it. Particularly after today's networking thing, I think now this could be one of the best business decisions I've made in a long time.
Oh, amazing.
Good does that make you feel?
Oh, that's fantastic.
And can I say as well, for me and Jamie, for year one, we were, because if truth be told, we didn't have very many exhibitors on. In the end we had 200 exhibitors, including partners and stuff. But right near the very start, something that we actively did is we went out and met our visitors. And I was mentioning to you earlier, one of the best bits of advice, again, name dropping Chris Bentley here a lot, but Chris Bentley from Not Working Networking, he said, people don't like to be silly, usually people don't like to be silly, but they like to stand next to silly. So me and Jamie last year, one of the things we did is we went and did like silly videos with some of our exhibitors when we had tons and tons of time.
Exceptionally silly.
Exceptionally, and one of them, and please have a look on our YouTube channel, because you'll find a video of me holding Jamie like a baby.
Yeah.
Just to give you a bit of an example. And
I agreed to it. Which...
he did. It was really weird. But
and every time it gets played back, I feel worse.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that. I was tempted. Unfortunately, I didn't get time. But a few of your videos, actually, when we were first looking into it, I did check them out. The one that I really liked, I think it was you at the car dealership or something like that, and you suddenly appeared.
I was in the boot.
You were in the boot. You opened up the boot, and it's just Gavin just holding.
And I apologise, Xander, because the production value on those videos was terrible. I imagine you were going, "Oh my god."
The microphone was really far away, but as we opened the boot, I turned, because it was a BYD showroom in Exeter. I turned to the dealership owner, and I went, "Oh, you really can't fit any old shit in the back of it."
You actually said rubbish.
Rubbish. Okay, yeah.
He just thought he'd thrown a swear word.
Oh goodness.
But yeah, but sorry, and sorry, the point I was making there is that, like, one thing that me and Jamie are really, really aware of, because we've had the Cornwall Business Show to deal with as well, which, you know, it's been an absolute pleasure. Like, we feel almost like we haven't done enough for people like yourself, where we haven't come out and met you, and maybe, you know, done some videos and stuff, and it's that you know that the most valuable asset in it is time. But we're working on it, aren't we, mate? We've got some things.
It's feedback like that genuinely we live for. And Gavin tells me that I should stop telling people this, but I'm proud of it. We didn't make any money from year one. You know, we finished at quite a substantial deficit, and you know, the agreement that we have in place with the Cornwall Business Show, we haven't, you know, we're going on the route that we want to own that event, but we haven't made any money from that event, and we haven't made any money from Business Fest Year 2 yet. But we are painfully aware that this isn't about making money at the moment. This is about building. This is about creating a reputation. This is about creating a community and doing something proper. And hopefully, when that all comes to fruition,
There'll be some money. That'd be nice.
That's fantastic. Do we have any other questions here?
I've got one.
Yeah.
Guys, you seem like you've got the skill, knowledge, and expertise and the connections to do something like Ideas Fest. Would you ever do something like that?
We actually got invited to Ideas Fest by the legend Ricky Collar from
those
collaborations.
Just very quickly, what's Ideas Fest?
Well, I only looked into it briefly, but it's they have lots of really, really cool speakers.
It's like a 2-3 day, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, hey, we're open to ideas, aren't we?
Sorry.
No, carry on.
But that's been like my whole life. I've worked in jobs and I had a boss, and I've done the 9 to 5. This is the first time I've been self-employed and you know, doing things how we want to do it. Gavin, you've got a bit more experience than I have. But one of the things that has been so mind-blowing for me personally is the amount of people that are reaching out to us with not you know, like proper, we should do this, we could do that with you. And it's got to the point now where Gavin and I have to be slightly more reserved in terms of the fact, because it's just me and him. We have Vicky and Hannah that work with us and help us with the social media and some of the smart exhibiting services. But you know, we're almost at a little bit of a crossroads where we don't have the money to grow and take on like another salesperson, for example, where perhaps we could entertain another exhibition. But it's, do we do that and then sacrifice a bit of, you know, how we treat exhibitors and go down more the road of chasing the money? And I think for the next 12 months, we've obviously spoken about this. We're just going to solidify what we've got with BizFest and the Cornwall Business Show, and then it will be a case of reassessing.
We haven't agreed to that yet.
I was going to say, you got two very good.
But
very good shows there.
Again, I don't want to go off on too much of a tirade, but like Gavin said, I'm the pessimist. I prefer to call myself a realist. He is the optimist. But
I'm a giddy optimist as well.
He does the majority of the partners and the operations and the marketing, and I'll chip in on that when I can. but my job solely is sales. So whenever Gavin's like, and this was the case for the Cornwall Business Show, we should do this, Jamie. And I'm like, it seems like a good idea. But all in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I've got to be the one that sells that. So, I mean, there's like 200 exhibitors at BizFest, nearly 100 exhibitors at Cornwall.
And it's tough when the phone rings and he has to go, hello? Oh, you want to book a stand?
That's what he thinks happens.
Fine.
That's how easy he thinks it is. He doesn't see the 10, 20 calls that go on behind the scenes. And you know,
Ring, ring. Oh, that phone's ringing again. Oh,
is it now?
Yeah.
Wonderful insight into your work. We've got time for one more question if anybody has one. Otherwise, we will be wrapping up. Anyone at all?
I'll jump in quickly if I can. It's very similar to Xander's question from a general point of view, but a bit more specific. When you're speaking to somebody who's considering taking an exhibition stand for the first time for their business ever, what's the one key bit of advice that you'd give to make it successful?
I guess it's not really advice, it's more of a meeting of the criteria. Because very early on in any sales call that I'll do with a potential exhibitor is I want to understand absolutely that we can live up to our end of the bargain and deliver the right audience. And people who work in sales will understand what I'm about to say. You have some of your favourite lines that you'll use again and again and again on calls. And one of my favourite lines is, look, I just want to understand who you want to target in terms of what a perfect client would be. Now, the easy way to address this would be I would ask you to give me that information and I will build my response around your answer. But I'm not going to do that because I'm going to tell you who we target and then you're going to tell me whether or not that's a good fit for you, because that's the honest way to do it and that's the integral way to do it. And that's how we do it on every single call. So I guess the first thing that I want to, whether it be a question, statement, whatever the case may be, is I want to understand, are we singing from the same hymn sheet? Are you targeting businesses in the Southwest? Are your services applicable to businesses in the Southwest? Is there genuine potential that you could generate a return on investment from being a part of our exhibition? If the answer to those questions are very much in the affirmative, then we will continue with the call. If they're not, sincerely, we will invite you to the show as a delegate free of charge. And if you like it, we'll speak again with 2027.
And I would add into that as well, a lot of exhibitions out there, they have a very, very high attrition rate. So they'll have exhibitors that will do year one, and then they won't do year two, year three, year four, because it just didn't work for them. We want to try and avoid that. Me, from a marketing perspective, I don't want to have to be remarketing, 75, 80% of the stands that we have in the show, within the show, to try and sell them to new exhibitors. What we're aiming for is and again, Jamie's mentioned, from year one, we've got about 50% of the exhibitors that exhibited in year one. So far exhibited in year two. The 3 months leading up to the show, January, February, March, with our show happening on the 1st of April, will be really the kind of the golden months, if you will, where I know, looking at the data of not just BizFest, but also Cornwall Business Show and the last 14 years of Cornwall Business Show, that's when the majority of the leads will come in. So that's where the majority of the sales will also come in. Now, I know that in the future, maybe not for BizFest 26, but maybe BizFest 27 or 28, 29, if I can get that attrition rate up to, if I can get the rebook rate up to 75, 80%, I know I can spend less on my marketing and I'm going to save money and, again, hopefully we'll make a bit of money.
There is, we sound, and this is what I kind of hate as well, last thing for me, I don't want to sound like we're holier than thou, that we're trying to rewrite the rule book, that, this is, we're perfect. We're doing this for selfish reasons, that we want to grow a successful business. We want exhibitors to spend money with us. And we just happen to find that the best way to do that is by being straight with people.
I think that's right. I mean, that's part of the integrity thing there, isn't it? When there's no subterfuge, it's like you don't wake up in the morning crying because you haven't helped all of your exhibitors, have you? No, but you are, going out there and you are trying to make the best for everybody, because what you put out there comes back at the end of the day. And like you say, we really appreciate that, and that's absolutely fantastic way to be. Once again, just want to say thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it, Gavin and Jamie.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.